Shri Shri Rasa Bihari Niju Ki Jai Ho. Vallaviya Vaishnavan Ko Jai Jai Shri Krishna. Sadar Saprem Jai Shri Krishna. Continuing from Vraja Kishori Seva Trust with reading of the 41 Bade Shiksha Patr of Sri Hari Rai Ji. We are on day 47, letter 17, starting with verse 6 today. Verse 6. Taking perfect shelter in Sri Acharyaji's lotus feet removes weaknesses and always grants the necessary strength. Tika 6. Although the embodied soul is plagued by so many impurities, and therefore finds it hard to shed those faults, if that soul takes firm shelter in Sri Acharyaji's lotus feet, then it will lose its weakness and gain the strength to transform itself. Then it might receive the perfect divine reward. Shri Gosaiji has written, I am wicked in my consciousness, speech, in my body, my actions, in my knowledge, even in my worship too. I am too offensive and cannot even comprehend all my own faults. I am drowning in the ocean of worldly existence. Only your lotus feet can save me, O Lord of Lords, the true Guru. I surrender to you alone. Sri Acharyaji has stated, Sri Krishna uplifts those who are always surrendered, and in weakness or in strength, always surrender to Sri Hari. Therefore, if you can humbly abandon reliance on all other practices to reach the Lord and take firm refuge in Sri Acharyaji's lotus feet, you will surely achieve the reward of the path of grace. Verse 7. Then, through such perfect surrender, your mind will not lose interest in the path, even if plagued by bad association, and it will not become faithless, even if ravaged by this impure age. Tika 7. It has been stated above that surrender certainly brings in its wake the reward of the path, but you still have to be wary of impurities that may appear and become obstacles. One is bad association, which uproots your love for the Lord, dissipates your enthusiasm, and eventually destroys your surrender. Bharat had to endure 3 rebirths because of his attachment to the deer. Dvivida was an ape who was a devotee of Sri Ramachandra. He associated with Narakasura, and thence began to fight with Sri Baladev. There are so many such accounts of people falling from their path due to bad company and losing their faith due to this impure age. When you become faithless, you lose your surrender and fall from the appropriate path for an embodied soul. Verse 8. Sri Acharyaji has stated in his Vivek Dharya Ashray Granth, Wisdom, Perseverance and Refuge treatise, never lose faith because this is a huge obstacle. In the path of grace, faith perfects surrender and is thus a root principle. When the roots of a tree are firm, so is the whole rest of the tree. In this very way, firm faith will lead to firm surrender, which is the foundation of this path of grace. On this subject of never losing faith, Sri Acharyaji has stated in his Vivek Dharya Ashray treatise, never lose faith. If you do, it will impede your every situation. Avishvasaha na kartavya. Sarvata vadakastusa. Understand lack of faith from the story of Hanuman, who broke free from the powerful Brahmastra weapon because his captors lost faith in it. Understand faith from the tale of the Chartaka bird, who forsakes all other water except for raindrops from certain clouds. Consider these examples and only use that which comes to you without selfish possessiveness. Never lose faith. When Ravan lost faith, his Brahmastra lost its power, and Ram Hanumanji burnt Lanka down. The cloud satisfies the Chartaka's unbroken faith. Lack of faith belongs to souls with demonic tendencies, therefore you should avoid it altogether. Faith is the root and foundation of Sri Acharyaji's path of grace, for, above all else, it generates surrender, and this latter is the highest principle. Verses 9 and 10. Without a doubt, this surrender accomplishes everything. This is why, in Sri Sarvotam Stotra, Sri Gosaiji has named Sri Acharyaji Pritakasharana Margopadeshta, the teacher who shows us the difference between different types of devotional surrender. That's 9. Sri Acharyaji has made it clear that even those souls who are devoid of wisdom, perseverance or devotion will be uplifted through surrender. Hence it is known that exclusive faith and loyalty is the root of all successful practice. Tika 9. There is no doubt that an embodied soul's existence is perfected when their surrender is constant. This path of grace is purely concerned with surrender to Sri Krishna, who is the supreme reward of this path and the supreme personification of grace. And this path has been uniquely created by Sri Acharyaji. Tika 10. In his Shri KrishnaaShray, or Refuge in Shri Krishna treatise, Sri Acharyaji has written, I implore Shri Krishna to uplift those souls who take refuge in him. In this way, devotees on the path of grace have their dedication perfected through Sri Acharyaji's submission to Sri Krishna. In his Vivekadarya treatise, Sri Acharyaji explains how he takes into his own shelter those embodied souls who are devoid of means to reach the Lord and lack wisdom, perseverance and devotion. Again in this treatise he states, Sri Hari is the refuge for those souls who are empowered and also those who are powerless. Thus surrender within the path of grace is perfection for those embodied souls who have no other means to reach the Lord. The Lord has described surrender within the path of lawful limitations in the Srimad Bhagavad Gita Ji. I leave all other righteous paths and simply surrender them to me. Do not worry, for I shall liberate you from all your sins. Thus the Lord spoke of Arjun. Leave all righteous paths, surrender to me. I shall dispose of all your sins and liberate you. This is the lawful way to remove sins and then give a reward. In contrast, Sri Acharyaji's path of grace, surrender can be perfected even in those who are full of faults and lacking wisdom, perseverance, and refuge. Verse 11. Always keep the company of those pure devotees who know the path, who are totally surrendered to the Lord's lotus feet, and who are always keen to contemplate the inner meaning of the teachings of the path. Tika 11. To souls who enter the path of grace through surrender to Sri Acharyaji, he grants devotion to the Lord's feet. In fact, he creates this path of surrender for such souls. Therefore, one should constantly ponder upon the inner meanings of his teachings, knowing that Sri Acharyaji promises to perfect the soul's surrender to the Lord. So in this way, keenly think about his words and have full faith in them. Then, standing directly before Sri Krishna, recite the KrishnaaShray treatise, Refuge in Sri Krishna, and truly your life purpose will be perfected. We're going to pause here today, and we will recommence with verse 12 of letter 17 tomorrow. Aaj ke Anand ki jai ho, Shri Shri Ras Viharini Ju ki jai, Shri Vallabha Disha ki jai, Shri Gosai Ji ki jai. Sab Vaishnavan ko Sada Supreme Sadenya Sananda Jai Shri Krishna Jai Jai Shri Radhe.